But what happens when I try to access my, let's say I try to access num1 or num2 outside of this function that I've declared here. So let's say I try to access num1 here. So you can see that it already even says that it could not find name num1. That did I mean num? And that is because the variable we have for my function here is not accessible outside of the function. So let's say I declare another variable here and say num3, and my num3 is equal to 10. Now if I add num3 to this, it is going to return, okay, it says num1 is not defined. So let me comment out this piece of code. Now it is going to return the expected value of 21, which is the sum of 6, 2, 3, and 10. So if you calculate that, it will give us 21. But let's say I try to access num3 outside of my function. So you can see that it is also giving the value that it says, sorry, it is also giving the error that says it could not find name num3. That did I mean num? So you would see that it is the same trend, and you can see that it cannot access any of the variables that we've declared inside of the function. We cannot access any of the variables we declared inside the function outside of the function. So all the variables we have inside the function, they have a local scope, and the ones we declare outside have a global scope, such that they can be accessed outside the function and also inside of the function, and it would work as expected. But anything we declare inside of a function cannot be accessed outside of the function. So that's the difference between global and local scope variables in functions. So I hope that answers your question. Um, Adeyemi. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, please. But I also dropped something in the chat now to probably maybe that will also explain it more better. Just like we have two function in a function name, and then we call that function name which call the inner function. But I
Okay.
think I get the explanation now. Thank
Okay.
you.
Let me use this example so maybe we can understand better and call it a day. So when I paste this function, okay, so we can see here that we have two functions. So we have the first variable. So the comment here says name is a local variable created by init. Let me just hide this. So it says here that name is a local variable created by init. Then inside of the function, we have another function that says console.log name. So display is an inner function that forms the closure. Okay, so this is where you heard the term closure. Okay, so we are using the variable declared in the parent function. So what all this is just saying is that, okay, here we can see that we have two functions, but we are accessing the variable of the outer function inside of the inner function. So this is like the parent function, and this is like the child function. But what do you think is going to happen when we have it the other way around? So let's say I have a variable here, name or first name, and I set this to um, Firefox. So I can access this variable inside of this function, definitely. So if I say a console.log first name, so when I say this, you can see that it prints out both Mozilla and Firefox. But what do you think is going to happen when I move this outside of my display name function where I have declared the variable? So if I try to run this, it is going to throw an error that says f name is not defined, and that is because my f name is inside the inner function and it's not accessible to the parent function. But anything in the parent function is accessible to the child function. So it can go the other way around. Just like we had for the global variable function and the local scope variable. Sorry, just like we had for the global scope and the local scope variables. So anything that is inside, so the child variables cannot be accessed by the parents, but the parent variables can be accessed by the child. Um, yes, that is just how it
Yeah,
works
thank
in
you.
this example. So I hope you understand.
I have a question I think you can help me particularly solve before you go. Should I send it to the chat?
Okay. So, Sheriff, I believe callbacks, promises, and async await would be from the next session if we are able to cover it in the next session. But those, like those would come in subsequent sessions. So yeah, we'll still go over that. They are in the scope of the course. So we would go over it. No, Mohammed. Well, I am done actually, but I think it was Emmanuel that said he has a problem. So he wants to send it to the chat box and see if I can help with it. So it might be something that everyone can gain from. So let's just hold on a bit more. Sha. So by 11:50, I guess we should all be done. Okay, this is going into objects and the DOM, and yeah. So I would not want to go into this now because I have not gone over the concepts that were introduced here at all. So it is just going to mix everything up. But I will copy it and keep it for when we go over this concept. So you will be able to understand. So but going over it now is just going to complicate things because then I would have to introduce the concepts and try to solve the problem. But I promise you, you would understand when we go over it. So yeah, so Emmanuel, yeah, exactly, Emmanuel. So I will not be able to answer this question now, but
Okay, no problem.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much, guys, for joining. Um, yeah, I hope we all learned a lot. And Moshokwe Follower, I don't know if there is any other thing you want to say before we all leave the meet.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for waiting till the end. And yes, thank you so much, our mentor, for taking your time. So what I heard is this might continue every weekend for the next 2-3 weeks. So I hope you guys join. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much, guys. Bye,
Thank you.
bye, bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.